Hey everyone, it's Rylan with Rylan's Amazing Photography, and welcome to today's video where I'm going to be giving you all my top 5 wildlife photography tips. So my first wildlife photography tip is to make sure that you're composing a good photo. Now there's two different compositional techniques that I recommend that you understand, especially for wildlife photography, but they can help you with any niche of photography. And those two compositional techniques are known as the rule of thirds and the rule of space. Now what these two techniques are is it's going to help you determine where to place a subject in your photo. So for example, on the screen right now I'm showing you a photo that is using the rule of thirds as well as the rule of space at the same time. With the rule of thirds, you can see that there are 4 lines that are going horizontally and vertically across the image. Your photo is going to look much better if you place your subject on one of those lines or in any box other than the box that is in the middle. There's 9 boxes. If you place your subject smack dab in the middle of all those boxes, it's not gonna look good. It's gonna look kind of boring, and you do not want your photo to look boring, I can assure you of that. Now you also want to notice that the animal is facing the direction where there is blank space, is the best way I know how to describe it. There's open space, there's nothing there, and that kind of provides what I like to say is a good example in your head of that the animal could run through that photo. If the animal was like, if there wasn't dead and blank space in front of the animal, it would just kind of cut off the animal. It's not leaving any potential for the subject to continue moving, is the best way I can explain it. You can imagine the animal running through the photo through the blank space, whereas if there was no blank space in front of the animal, you can't really imagine it going anywhere, and that's not a good look for a photo. So with that being said, let's go ahead and reiterate my first tip, which is to properly compose your photograph using the rule of thirds and the rule of space. Let's go ahead and talk about my second tip now. My second tip is relatively simple, but it's really important, and that is that you need to know and understand the subject that you're photographing. You don't, a good example that I always like to give is you don't approach a bear and get 5 feet within a bear to take a photograph. Now most people understand that, but there are a lot of other behaviors that animals have, like even cardinals, even something like a squirrel. Every animal has its rare set of behaviors, and while it's important to understand those not only to get a good photograph, it's also very important to not disturb the animal when getting a photograph. You don't want to kind of ruin the way that the animal is interacting with its environment, because to be fair, the environment that you are in belongs to that animal. It doesn't belong to you. You don't want to disturb it. It could be getting food that it needs to in order to survive, and if you go and you scare it, it might not get that food, and the animal could even die. Also, of course, like with the example I gave with the bear, it's important to kind of understand the subject so you don't put yourself in danger. You certainly don't want to put the animal that you're photographing in danger, but your life is also very important. And although it might not be popular for me to say this in the wildlife photography community, your life is more important than an animal, so there's no point in getting yourself near a bear or near a mountain lion or any other sort of animal that could potentially harm you. You don't want to do that. It's really important to understand the animal's behavior. That way you can tell if it's getting aggressive and it doesn't want you to be there, or if it's getting uncomfortable and it's about to leave because you're there. You just don't want to disturb the animal, and you want to keep yourself safe and you want to keep the animal safe. And that is why my second tip is to understand the subject that you are photographing. The third tip that I want to give all of you all is something that might not be very popular in the photography community, but in my personal opinion, it's important. I'm actually going to take off this little boggin thing so you all can see my beautiful face, and you can see that my hair is just fantastically fixed. My third tip is to use a telephoto lens. Now, I said that's not popular because when you say use a telephoto lens, a lot of people are immediately thinking, oh, well, I'm gonna have to go spend thousands of dollars on this big fancy lens that's gonna get photos of birds and wildlife closer. Now, I think wide-angled shots are great in wildlife photography, and I totally support that because honestly, that's something that you don't see a lot. But to be real, wildlife photography is so loved because it shows images of wildlife close up. It shows photos of wildlife closer than anyone has ever seen it before, and I believe that that's why wildlife photography has been so popular over the years, because most people would never get that close to an animal, and that's even why I love it. Now, however, I will say this. I think it's important for you to have a telephoto lens, but you don't have to go out and spend $6,000 on a telephoto lens. I consider a telephoto lens to be anything 200 millimeters and above. I know a telephoto lens is technically a 70 to 200 millimeter. However, I guess I'm talking more about a super telephoto lens in this case. So anything 200 millimeters and above, I would consider telephoto. Now, I recommend the bigger the number, the better. If you're shooting Nikon, I'm immediately going to recommend to you all a lens that is fairly budget friendly, priced at $1,500, which is this lens here. It's the Nikon 200 to 500 millimeter f5.6. It's a fantastic lens that can get you close to all different kinds of birds and wildlife without having to disturb any of them, which is just how I like it. When using a super telephoto lens, it's still important to put all of the other tips that I'm going to give you in this video and have already given you in this video into practice. You still want to use the rule of thirds, the rule of space. It's still important for you to not disturb the animal, because oftentimes, even with a telephoto lens, photographers still find themselves wanting to get closer to the subject, and although it's great to be as close as possible, you don't want to do that by disturbing the animal. So, once again, to reiterate, my third tip is to use a telephoto lens. So this next tip is something that I am always preaching on Instagram, on TikTok, on this channel. I'm always talking about this. I believe that it is exceptionally important, and my fourth tip is to blend in with your environment, and this can be by wearing camouflage. Typically that's what it is. There's different types of camouflage, and I understand and recognize that if you're in some sort of Arctic condition, or if you're somewhere where it snows a lot, you're going to want to have camouflage that is white. I believe it's actually called Arctic camo. I'm not 100% on that, but I believe that's the case. It's just important to blend in. I mean, if you live in a city and you're going out to photograph wildlife, just wear your everyday clothes, because chances are wildlife isn't going to be very scared of you if you're in a city. If you're going out somewhere in the wilderness, if you're going out like deep back into the woods, you're going to want to make sure that you're wearing camouflage, because chances are wildlife is going to be scared if they see you. So you want to blend in as much as possible, and that is why I'm always preaching to blend in with your surroundings, because wildlife is going to be scared of you, believe it or not. So wear camouflage, and if you're not wearing camouflage, take the proper measurements to ensure that you are kind of at least blending in a little bit with your surroundings. I don't know how you're going to do that, but I'm sure that where you live, you can figure out how to blend in so that animals are not scared of you, because they're gonna be scared of you if you're just going out there and you're screaming, or you're, I don't know, if you're wearing bright colored clothing in the middle of the woods, the animals are gonna run away from you. That's what I'm trying to say. Just make sure that you blend in. And that's my 4th tip. Now let's go ahead and move on to my final wildlife photography tip. My final wildlife photography tip is to simply use a tripod. If you're working with a telephoto lens or a big camera, or honestly, if it's a dark environment and you want to make sure that your photo comes out sharp and isn't blurry and doesn't have any sort of motion blur, a tripod is going to help you out a lot. Especially when dealing with heavy equipment. Oftentimes, if you're packing around a big telephoto lens all day long, that can get tiresome. Or if you're holding it up in the air to photograph an animal for a long amount of periods of time, that can get tiresome. So it's important to have a tripod that you can properly mount your lens and your camera onto. It's going to take a lot of that weight off your shoulders. And then, like I said, it's also going to help you take pictures of the animals by being able to kind of hold your camera still when it's in darker conditions, and it allows you to get your shutter speed down lower than what you can oftentimes when you're hand holding your camera. So my final tip that I want to give today, once again, is to use a tripod when photographing wildlife. I hope today's video has helped you and you now understand how to better photograph wildlife. If you're interested in learning exactly how I photograph wildlife, I have an hour-long tutorial on how to photograph birds and wildlife over on my channel. It's the first video. When you click my name and go to my channel, you can click right here to go and check it out. It's a great educational video, and I highly recommend it to anyone who is looking to get serious about wildlife photography. Be sure that you head over to my Instagram and follow me over on there as well. I showcase all of my photos over on there all the time, and I'm always posting Instagram reels and stories, so you can keep in touch with me on a daily basis. I also have a print store. I also have a book. There's a lot of different ways that you can support me. I'm also posting on TikTok every single day. I also have links down below in the description and in the pinned comment to all of the gear that I use. Those links, are Amazon affiliate links. So if you go in there and purchase any of my gear using my link, that does help me out a lot. I have things as big as the Nikon D500 on there, and things as small as SD cards. So it helps me out a lot when you use that list. You can find that once again in the description, in the pinned comment, or you can head over to my website, www.rollandsamazingphotography.com/mygear. Thanks so much for watching today's video. Once again, I hope these tips did help you, and most importantly, I hope you all have an amazing day.